Chances are, if you're watching this, you didn't have time to sit with me through a live demo, so I've decided to bring the demo to you. I'm out on the street and I'm walking around, found a house that's in serious need of some love. So what I'm going to do is take a picture of this house, upload it into our software, and work through it step by step with you back in my office. Okay, I think it's important to note that this all begins with a picture. So the better picture you can put into the software in the first place, the easier your work is going to be when you're creating your masks. So essentially what you want to do is get as straight on as humanly possible, preferably in good light, and you want to eliminate as much of the background as possible. I mean, if you're grabbing a shot from across the street, you're going to get cars and such in your way. Looks pretty good with what we have here. I'm standing in the middle of the street and a car is approaching, so let's grab this and I'll meet you back in the office. Welcome back. As you can see, I made it safe and sound back to my office, and I brought you on screen with me so that you can just sit back and enjoy the show. Before we get right into the software itself, I'd like to take you through a few introductory slides to give you a bit of background on our web-integrated solution that we've built for exterior remodelers. Selling home improvement products and services, as you know, is not always a simple sale and requires a company to have built a loyal customer base. I think it's important to note that homeowners don't make decisions lightly when it comes to remodeling their home. And from the feedback that I hear from companies like yours, oftentimes you're looking for ways to simplify your sales process and help customers make confident decisions. I think it's also fair to say that the sale is oftentimes complicated by the reality that you're dealing with two decision makers, and that getting a husband and wife on the same page isn't always easy. It always comes back to this. 80% of consumers can't visualize products on their home before construction begins. This itself identifies the need for a visualization solution. Renoworks has been building custom solutions for retailers and manufacturers for over 15 years, and having created those alliances and product catalogs for over 200 companies, we're now able to tailor a cost-effective solution built specifically for remodelers and contractors. And essentially what we can do is offer visualization that allows you to take a photograph of any home, even as a raw drawing as you see here, and apply manufacturer-specific product. So what you can do is guide people from inspiration to realization with the best of both worlds. So what we offer is presentation software, first and foremost. So you can effectively show a homeowner a before and after of their home before the work is done. Not only that, with manufacturer-specific product. Because it's an online solution, you have the added bonus of being able to access your visualizer from any device with internet connection. So that means that you can take an iPad out into the field and just be a rock star in your presentation with the homeowner and look all fanciful. Beyond that, you have the ability to offer a do-it-yourself tool. So if you opt for the web integrated solution, you can share this tool from your website with homeowners, and that itself will empower them to reimagine their own homes and to come to you educated with the products that they want to explore. So to touch a little bit about the features of the web integrated solution, what we're going to do is give you unlimited access to your visualizer, to your online visualizer. We generally sell this by license, but we decided with this solution, we would open it up to your entire company so that your entire sales team is outfitted with the solution. Not only that, you can extend it to your homeowners, and you can even take it one step further and use that link in your marketing initiatives. We're going to customize that visualizer for you and brand it with your logo so that it's just going to look polished and it's going to give you that little bit of added brand recognition. Yourself, your sales team, and your homeowners are going to be able to upload their own photo or use the sample projects. You're going to get a fully loaded visualizer, and you'll have access to all of our current manufacturer catalogs. I think it's also important to note that you have the ability to customize that so that you're only showing your preferred lines. You're going to have the ability to save, print, and share the projects on social media. Now, I think this is a great secondary benefit because it's a branded solution. And because of this day and age where people are actually engaging in these sorts of online tools, and we are a culture of sharing. So for instance, if a couple came to your website and they worked on a project, so they reimagined their home on your website with your visualizer, they then have the ability to share that on Facebook or Twitter or Pinterest. So it just is another way to kind of give you that word of mouth advertising that we're always looking for. You're going to get qualified lead capture. So anyone coming to your site who visits your visualizer, we're going to capture their contact information and we're going to send it to you. Not only that, we're going to send you the project that they're working on. So you're going to get eyes on their house. You're going to see if they're exploring siding or windows or roof. You can see if it's a big job. And it's just going to give you that heads up over your competition. In one click, you're going to be able to facilitate dialogue and share project ideas back and forth with the homeowner. And again, because it's an online solution, you have that tablet compatibility, which is just an added bonus, especially when you want to take a device out into the field for sales presentations. Now, to speak a little bit about the benefits, again, it's a cost-effective solution. You're going to be able to sell more product. If you can show more product, you're going to sell more product. I think a lot of the solutions out there are good. You know, a lot of the manufacturers have their own solution, but they're limited in the sense that you can only explore their product. Chances are you're not just doing roof or window or doors. You kind of sometimes want to show the complete picture, and our solution allows you to do that. By extending this, you're going to be able to engage clients and build loyalty. Users are going to stay on your site longer, and they're going to promote your company on social media, as I've already stated. I think that it's important to note, we built a solution for Renewal by Andersen, and you know, they're a big company, so their feedback to us is very important. And what they have fed back to us is this, that if someone comes to their website looking for windows, they'll spend 3 minutes or less and they peace out. If they visit the visualizer that we created on their website, homeowners are staying 26 minutes or longer, and they've reported that they're 5 times more likely to become a customer. So that's pretty powerful stuff. Again, this sort of solution is going to shorten your sales cycle. If people can picture it, if they can get it in their head what something's going to look like, it's going to take away all that humming and hawing and decision making, and they're going to be able to make a decision a lot quicker if they can, you know, believe what they see what they believe. Either way, you're going to generate those qualified leads. The technology is simple to integrate and the software is user friendly. We're really evolving this product, and you're going to see that as time goes on. Our development team is constantly looking at ways to improve the product and make it easier to use. Not only that, as far as integrating on your website, it's just a matter of taking the link that we create for you and integrating that into your iframe. So you could literally be up and running on your website live with a visualizer in 5 minutes or less. This solution is going to keep your company current with web development trends that provide user experience. And again, our development team is evolving the software with your needs in mind. So it's a pretty good time to be on board because we're really listening. We're taking your feedback and we're developing a better product all the time. So having said that, and again, to touch on this, you can customize your visualizer with manufacturers, some that you'll see here, some that you won't. Important to note that if you're looking for a manufacturer that we don't carry, we will reach out to that manufacturer for you, and chances are we'll try and get that catalog built. So having said all of this, let's get right into the software itself and reimagine. We're going to jump in and grab that picture of the house that I almost got hit by a car taking today, and let's make it beautiful. So as you can see here, this brings us to the user interface for your online solution. It's pretty nice and clean and simple to use. So to start, I'd like to just show you what the link itself actually looks like. This is how we deliver the product, the solution to you. We create a unique link that's yours, and you can use it limitlessly with the web integrated solution. So here you're seeing this link as your company name here.renoworkspro.com. It would become literally your company name here.renoworkspro.com. You can share that link with your sales team, and they simply click it and it brings up their own version of the visualizer, or you can extend that to homeowners as you host this on your website. Anywhere, and this is where I love to kind of get excited about the marketing potential here, anywhere that you have your company listed online, include this link. I mean, what it's going to do, it's not only going to bring people to your website, but it's going to bring people to this experience on your website. It's all tied in, but it's going to bring people right here where they can get excited to reimagine their home and they can check out what products that you offer. So having said that, as you can see in the top left corner here, you have placement for your logo. So we're going to brand this with your specific logo. The visualizer home link is going to bring you right here. This is what we're looking at. You're also able to have a call to action link. So many contractors, remodelers, will have something like contact my company at and include a phone number. And this will actually link to a contact page or a request a quote page on your website itself. Something else to note, that the color scheme here is by default gray, but what we'll do is we'll customize that so it looks, like it fits the scheme of your existing website so that it's a little bit more cohesive. So if you look at the top right hand corner, you're going to notice you can sign in or create an account. So let's go to the create an account tab here just to show you, I'm babbling, what we capture. And I think this is especially important for the lead capture. So if a homeowner was visiting your visualizer, we grab their first and last name, their phone number, their zip code, email and password. Obviously we ask to confirm that. And by clicking here, it allows you to legally contact that homeowner, just crossing our T's. A lot of customers will ask, who owns these leads that are generated by my visualizer? And the answer to that is pretty short. It's you. We don't advertise or sell to homeowners. So anyone who comes to your site, uses this product, even though it's technically us hosting it, these leads are yours and yours alone. So having said that, I'm just going to sign myself in to my own account here. Bear with me a moment. I have the longest password in the history of passwords, so I don't like to make a mistake the first time. And it looks like we should be good. So you can see, I know that I'm signed in because it's welcoming me as Alicia. And so it's going to bring me automatically into my saved projects. Again, if I click the visualizer home, it's going to bring me right back here to my front page. So I've got three basic options. I can view sample projects, upload my own photo, or open a saved project. So the first thing we're going to do is let's just check out the sample projects. And I'm sure you're familiar and have seen other websites that essentially do this. They'll offer a few homes. They'll say, pick one that looks like yours and explore products. And I think that sample projects do have a place. They're a nice, quick, and easy place to be able to just grab a house and quickly show a product. So all the work has already been done. As you can see, as I hover over the siding, you can see it's been selected. If I click it, it's going to bring up my brick, siding, or stone options. So if I grab siding, you can see that it's going to bring up all of the manufacturers. So let's grab some Hardy. It's going to bring up all of the boards I can select. So I choose a board and it's going to let me drill it right down to color. So very quickly I can show a customer what James Hardy Booth Bay Blue is going to look like. And I think that it has a place, if you just want to do a quick, like a quick way to show off a particular product. Same thing with the roof. Click the roof. It's going to bring up appropriate roofing products. We'll grab a manufacturer. We'll choose a shingle. We'll drill it down to color. And you can see it effectively is going to switch that over really quickly for me. I think that, as I say, it has its place, but I think that as we all know, I think a lot of the magic happens with the upload your own photo. Homeowners are going to get excited when they can see their own space with product. And if you can get them excited, they're way more likely to buy. So having said that, let's grab that picture that we took earlier today in the street. I've already brought it onto my computer. So let's bring it into the software. Okay, so here it is. First thing you're going to have to do with any project that you bring in is you're going to have to set the project scale. And we simplify this. We just kind of advise you, top left corner, just to simply measure out the line of the door. We put the default in for you already at 6 foot 8 inches, so you don't have to worry about that. Click continue, and we're officially good to go. So now, essentially what we do is we look at the picture of our house, and this is how I explain this to all of the guys that I do sales training for. I mean, masking can be frustrating. It can be daunting, and a lot of people are overwhelmed by the idea of having to do it and having to work with piece by piece. And there are a lot of photographs that have complicated issues with them, and it's true, it can be frustrating. But to me, all you need to do is bring it to the simplest forms. You're looking at your picture. This is a very simple interface. Anything I want to do, I just look to my left and it's there for me. I don't have to go hunting for options through menus or anything like that. So let's take this picture as an example, and let's start at the top and let's work on this little roof that we see here. So clearly I want to work on the roof, so I'm going to look to my left and I'm going to choose the roofing masking tool. So in clicking that, it's going to identify that I'm working on the roof. You'll also notice in the top left corner there's a magnifying tool there. it is literally going to become your best friend. It's going to help you get into all those nooks and crannies, especially when there's not a lot of color differentiation. Did you like how I flubbed that word? Differentiation. All right, so there we go. We've got our roof selected. Now we notice that this little guy is in the way, so let's go ahead and erase part of a surface. So now I can effectively use my magnifying tool to just kind of get nice and close to that little guy. He's small, but if I use my magnifying tool, it's pretty painless. So now I can click done. The thing with a roof is you're always going to have to worry about the perspective, right? There's a slope, there's angles. You're not going to want to just apply flat product to that roof, or it's going to look like a Salvador Dali painting. So if I select the roof, I want to go into my perspective tool. So what it's going to do, it's going to bring up 4 handles, and it's going to say this end up, which makes it pretty much intuitive. So what I do is I just drag these handles so that this end up is up. And then these 2 handles are coming out to those points so that everything makes sense in the world. Okay, simple as that. I click apply and done, and we're good to go. So you'll notice that I did that mask in the draw tool. Pretty much you're going to be working between the draw and the visualize. So if I click on visualize now, just like in the sample projects, if I hover over the roof, you can see that it changes to blue. That means it's ready for product. So if I click on it, it's going to bring up my roofing products. So let's grab some Certainteed, let's choose a shingle, and let's go black. I've now effectively applied a roof to that space. So we've got one piece of this puzzle done. Okay, so if next we were going to work on, let's say, windows. Again, I look to my left, I grab my window masking tool. Again, using the magnifying tool, I can get into those corners. Thing is, too, is you really don't have to worry so much about getting things right the first time. Everybody has that fear, like, you know, you make a mistake. Like, say this is my selection, that's terrible. All I need to do is, as I hover over these handles, they'll swell up. And that means when they're swollen, that I can move them around. So I can drag them into the appropriate place. And I can do that at any time. So generally, I don't worry too much the first time about getting everything right, because you can always tweak things later. So let's just grab that 3rd window and select it out. And we've got 3 done. So now, again, I'm in my Draw tab. If I go over to Visualize, I can see that these windows are highlighting when I hover over them, which again means that they're ready for product. A little quick tip, if I wanted to make all these windows the same window, which generally you're going to do, I can use my Group tool. So in that, if I go to my Group tab and I click on the windows, you can see that they're highlighting in yellow, and I have the ability to throw them together. So now, when I go to Visualize and I hover, you can see that they highlight together. So it's going to apply that product to all of those places that I grouped together. So now I can grab a window. And each manufacturer essentially will display their products, you know, with tabs in this fashion, and you can drill it right down to the screen and the view in the glass. For simplicity, we'll just change a couple of the details. We'll change the grid type, and let's do a farmhouse grid style. There we go, and click apply. And essentially, in one shot, we're going to have changed all 3 windows out. So now comes the issue of foreground. As you know, with any picture, there's always going to be tons of things in your way. It's going to be a garden hose, a tree, a bush, a car, a snowbank, a child, a Purelator package, what have you. So it can be frustrating, but let's just simplify it and just let's chop out everything that we can possibly think of that's going to bug us as we're working on this project. So as you can see here, the foreground tool is at the very top. That's because it's very important, because we always want to get those things out of our way. So first things first, let's go ahead and get rid of these bushes. So this is the kind of tool that you don't have to be as accurate as you may think. I'm just doing a whole lot of clicking. It's going to do a pretty good job of just grabbing around those leaves, etc. So I'm just going to kind of roughly outline it. The more clicks, the merrier. That's my philosophy on this. Okay, so that piece, we're now going to add to the foreground. We may as well grab this other one while we're doing foreground. Lots of clicking. Let's get around that sign too. It's bugging me. Again, you don't have to do anything 100% perfect. You can always go back later and kind of refine things. All right, so we've got those in our foreground. You know what? Let's get these guys in there too, because we definitely don't want to apply product over top of those lamps. So let's add them to the foreground. Now this is going to require me taking a peek at my magnifying tool because it's a little more detailed. But as you can see, it's not that painful if I stay calm. Add to the foreground. Let's get around this guy. And done. So now if we were to work on changing out, let's say, the siding here, okay? So let's just go to our siding tool. And let's just start by making a huge selection. Even though we're going to go over top of windows and shutters and everything else, let's make our selection first and then let's chop out some pieces after. Because, you know, by making the selection, it's going to create a mask, which is blue, which is going to allow us to see exactly what we need to get out of our way. See what I mean? So now I can see that I need to get rid of a few more things. Okay, so let's go ahead and erase part of the surface. So let's chop this guy out. Okay, he's gone. He's gone. This is the fun part, really. Well, I say that. Chop, chop. We get these shutters out of the way. Again, I don't have to be too fussy because I can fix them up later. We'll erase this guy. This is the hardest part, to be honest with you. When you're doing your masking, it's a little tedious, but the reward is there. Once you do it once, it's done. And then you can show 1,000 different combinations of product just by simply clicking. You know, you're essentially creating your own sample project. I didn't like that very much, so I'm just going to bring it in a little tighter. Let's erase all of this stuff too. And again, I always keep my eye on that magnifying tool because it really helps to get in nice and tight, especially as you can see where there's not a lot of differentiation in color here for me to kind of be guided. So we'll come up here, we'll take this guy out. We'll erase another part. This is a long time for you guys to wait to see something exciting happen. Trust me, it's coming. Down here. All right. So now we can click done. Well, we should probably get that door out of the way. Now that I think about it, I want to protect all this beautiful detail here. We're almost there. I promise. As you can see, it's only been a couple of minutes and we've gotten through a lot of complicated stuff. So again, I didn't get nice and tight. I can always go back and adjust my handles accordingly. So now we're going to click done. We're going to go to visualize. So now as I hover over there, you can see that that area is selected. We can grab some siding. I always have a tendency to go towards James Hardy. I love Booth Bay Blue, so let's do it. And there you have it. We've now effectively redone the house with a new roof, new windows on the second floor, and new siding. So you can see there's a couple areas that need a little bit of work. You know, they're not nice and tight. Again, I can go back into my draw tab. I can jump onto that shutter, hover, and just tighten it up just to kind of get a better selection. And you can see now it's going to render and it's going to clean that up. So the next question is there might be instances, like for instance, these windows on the second floor, you're like, well, how could I apply trim or any kind of detailing to that? Well, we simplify it in this case by using the paint feature. Essentially with the paint feature, you can draw any shape and apply color to it. We even have the James Hardy colors, the trim colors, matched in the paint. So if I were to go to paint and say I wanted to put some trim that doesn't even exist, but I just wanted to create a more polished look here, I could just roughly draw it out. I'm not saying I'm the best at this, but let's just do this here. Bring it out a little bit more. Now click done. If I go to visualize, I've now set that as paint. So you'll notice that it's going to bring up my paint manufacturers, but it's also going to grab Hardy because we have some matching colors here. So if I were to go to the Arctic White, you can see that I can effectively add in my visualize trim that doesn't even exist. So again, let's work on a door just so that we're kind of touching a little bit on everything. So if I go to my door here, let's throw a new door on this house. I should send this rendering to the realtor that's trying to sell it. Click done. I go to visualize. You can see that the door is ready for a new one. Let's throw an entry door on there. And it's pretty cool. You can go through and pick all the different doors, the different glass, hardware even. But for simplicity's sake, we're just going to grab this door. It looks pretty cool. And click apply, and we'll throw a new door on. So now all the hard work is done. I mean, you can go through and you can tweak the areas as needed, but essentially your basic masking is done. So you can go through now, and you can always come down to your recently viewed products, but you can go through and hover on an area and change it up. You know, you could use brick or stone in place of the siding. You know, the sky's the limit. Once you make your selections, it's all easy sailing from there. And you can just constantly change product until you kind of get it to the way you want it to look for the homeowner. So from here, what you can do, and again, I can go from the stone back down in my recently viewed products, and I can go back to the siding. So what I have the ability to do now is I can take up to 10 snapshots of the house in different configurations, and it'll produce a report to essentially show a before and after, you know, and up to 10 afters. I mean, generally speaking, you're only going to want to show 3 or 4, but it's kind of a handy tool, and that's available right down here on the bottom left. So if I were to finish the house to my liking, I have the ability to go to the Save and Review tab. So here it's going to show all of the products that I've been exploring along the way by, you know, specified by manufacturer. I have the ability to save this to my Renoworks account. So if I was working on a project, always make sure to save it here, and then you'll be able to retrieve it on your opening page again in your Save Projects file. This is where you see the Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. So this is where I'd be able to, or a homeowner could get excited, they redid their house. It'll post it on Facebook with your logo and kind of say something like, look at how I've reimagined my home, you know, just to kind of get that feedback. So it's just a cool little feature. So again, you have the ability to print. It's always going to have your logo and pretty much everything that the client does with it. You're going to have that logo representation there. And again, all of the products that you've explored. So I mean, pretty much that is the, you know, training 101 on how to mask, how to change things over. And I'm glad you sat with me today. I know that I have a tendency to ramble. So hopefully you've got some questions. You can give me a call and we can go through them and take this to the next level and hopefully get you set up with a new cool tool. Take care.